The main event is glory, excitement, camaraderie, and pain.
The main event is a chance for players to test themselves.
When you scoop that first pot, it gives you a little bit of calm, knowing that you're here, you belong here, knowing you can play with pretty much anybody.
Walking into the Amazon room as a player is a feeling like no other, and you just get goosebumps everywhere, your hair stands up. It's electrifying.
Getting through this massive field is really, really tough.
In order to make the money, you have to beat out over 6,000 players. That's my dream.
Every day is its own day, and you have to look at it that way, and you just have to make it through the day.
Give me the money. Give me the money.
Beauty of the main event is they'll let anybody final table this thing.
That's just Dolly Brunson, who wrote the book.
And there it is. Helmuth wins the championship.
Ryan Reese is the world champion.
Biggest day of my life.
Welcome to the 2014 World Series of Poker main event featuring a $10 million top prize.
I am all in.
Ivy. Day 4. How much am I gonna cash for? Not am I gonna cash. Me and Eddie Sabata are here trying to do it like we did last year. Trying to make that 5 in a row, kids. Trying to make that 5 in a row, baby.
5,000. I got 5,000 in chips. I'm the lowest on the totem pole. 5,000. The comeback kid is here. Watch me. Break. I'm gonna be up. Chip number 1. I'm out.
746 players filing into the Amazon room for the start of day 4. I'm Lon McCarron with Norman Chad and Kara Scott. Fresh off bracelet number 10 is Phil Ivey with a big stack.
I love Ivey, but here's my issue with him. We both have the same number of no-limit Hold'em bracelets. 0.
Ronnie Barta is looking to make main event history.
Barta, one of 8 players who has cashed in 4 straight main events. No one's ever done it 5 times.
2013 November Niner. Mark Newhouse is still in the hunt.
I don't know much, Lon, but I do know one thing. No one makes back-to-back main event final tables anymore.
1 chip, 1 chip. 1 chip, 1 chip. All in the first hand. First hand.
We've got small stacks, and big names competing for the $10 million first place prize. Dan Smith has a lot of chips. 96 main event champ Huck Seed is still kicking.
6,683 began this main event. Huck Seed, the only former champ still in the game.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Come on, Dylan. Say you can. Say you can, baby. Full house. Way to go.
Charles Freeman is out.
Good hand, fellas. Good hand. Good hand. Tried to make that comeback. Right on. All right, cool. Roughing, y'all. Meet him on my way to the room. Walk the same.
He's got chips now.
Freeman, the first one out on day 4, as Mark Newhouse is chipping up early. So we're down to just 745 champions to be here on day 4 in the Amazon room in Las Vegas as we head back to the featured table where Phil Ivey sits. Ivey in the big blind right now with the blinds at 2,000 and 4,000. He is holding court, but there are other familiar faces. One of them, Kyle Karanen, who finished 38th in 2012.
The 32-year-old Las Vegas pro impressed us 2 years ago, and he's got a stack to impress us again.
Ivey hovering at about 500,000 chips, but he's got a big stack on his left. Phil spoke with Kara Scott earlier.
It's day 4, and we are so close to the money. Now, Phil, is it fair to say that the pros find a little extra enjoyment around the bubble time?
Well, yeah, because, people are really want to get in the money. They want to, it's a lot of people's dream is just to cash in this event, make it this deep. And a lot of times you're able to exploit that if the situation comes up.
There's always so much buzz when we see you with a stack in a tournament. Now, if you were handicapping yourself, what are the odds of making the final table?
The odds of me making the final table right now, I have like double average. There's 740 players. I'm probably like 15, 16 to 1 of to make the final table, I would say.
Pretty much guaranteed then.
Yeah, right.
Good luck out there.
Okay,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Yeah, I've got him at even money to make the November 9 right now, unless he walks past a baccarat table.
Folded to the small blind, Robert Gaudio. He's a banker from Brooklyn, 37 years old, ace-6, and a raise to 12,000.
Marty, what's your highest finish on the tour?
I only played the one.
Oh, you just played the one? Do you qualify
qualified
for it?
Yeah.
Do you play with any big names?
Played Tom Watson.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
How's
practice round. That's cool.
That's cool.
Nice man.
Gold shirt is Marty Vertical, once played in the U.S. Senior Open Golf Championship. Ivy made the call. Jack 8 king.
Good start. At least he started better today.
Ivy with top pair.
69. 69 low.
Gaudio bets 12,000 to Ivy now with the pair of kings.
Yeah, I was excited. Pretty cool.
What's number one tip you can give like an amateur?
Just practice your short game.
Drive for show, putt for dough.
Mark Daniel Hughes looking for help with his game. Ivy made the call. 9 of spades on the turn.
If Gaudio bets here again, I don't know if it's for show or for dough.
He does check it.
Ivy now tied for second on the all-time bracelet list with Doyle Brunson and Johnny Chan.
And he checks back. River card, another king. Trip kings for Phil Ivy.
We're getting close to the money here. I don't think Gaudio will be out of line.
He does check it. And Ivy with the 3 kings. That's 30,000.
Ivy telling Gaudio, this is my pot, my town, my main event. Go see a nice show tonight.
Gaudio wondering, is Ivy doing that pro thing and putting hollow pressure on the unknowns? Or does he have it? Gaudio does fold. And Phil Ivy will take that pot. He's not the chip leader anymore, but he's got a lot of poker ammunition to play with.
Every time I see Phil Ivy rake in a pot, a tingle goes down my spine.
Some things are different about the main event this year, such as a guaranteed top prize of $10 million and a larger starting field in 2013. And of course, some things are the same. You look at least a year older, and we get to watch Phil Ivy make another deep run.
My man, Phil Ivy. When I'm at my lowest of lows, I just close my eyes and I see Phil Ivy running through a meadow. I see Phil Ivy walking on water. I see Phil Ivy dancing in the moonlight. I see Phil Ivy ending all wars. And of course, I see him taking down the main event this year. And if he doesn't win it all, he's dead to me.
Your annual proclamation. Now we can start the main event. We'll keep it here at the featured table. Folded around to Jason Riesenberg, King Queen of Clubs, a Vegas poker pro.
Iowa State grad, grew up taking care of a swine operation, which I guess is good prep for dealing with poker players.
He finished 18th in the main event in 08, a raise to 9,000. Jim Duncan now with ace-6 of clubs. An amateur from Indiana owns 2 Dairy Queens.
Excuse me, let me go introduce myself.
He makes the call. Gaudio with ace-queen of hearts on the button. And he'll make the call as well. Phil Ivy in the small blind with pocket tens. A lot to consider here, Norman.
He's got the best hand. But then again, Phil Ivy always has an edge of sorts, no?
Yeah, he does indeed. Ivy with the only pocket pair. And a re-raise to 34,000.
That will get rid of the shoe clerks and crumb bums.
Big stack at this table. Andy Wang folds. Riesenberg gets rid of his king-queen. Duncan now, the 49-year-old.
You know, Lon, I've got a hankering for a double fudge cookie dough blizzard treat right now.
Can you dip that too? He folds his suited ace. Now Gaudio with the suited ace-queen. He started the hand with almost 130,000 chips.
I'm all in.
And he's willing to risk them all.
130 or so.
Ivy makes the call to put Gaudio at risk as we approach the money bubble.
Yeah, that was a big push with about 30 big blinds left. It was for 20% of Ivy's stack. That's a lot of chips at risk before the money bubble for Gaudio. But hey, if you get knocked out, at least it's by Phil Ivy.
All right, the flop with Gaudio at risk is all spades. Pretty bleak for Gaudio.
Gaudio now wondering if he can get late checkout from the Rio at this hour.
So Gaudio at risk, in danger of missing out on the money here in 2014. A tray of diamonds. Gaudio needs to come through on the river.
Gaudio gathers his personal effects. Only a non-spade ace or queen will allow him to sit down again.
The river card is a king, and Ivy will knock out Robert Gaudio from the main event. That's going to sting for Robert.
Yeah, you play for 4 days and fall just short of the money. Not a good feeling.
And Norman, you know the main event just feels a little better with Phil Ivy and his biggest supporters, Mel and Pat Humphreys, in the house. Ivy approaching 700,000. He's not top dog, but with that stack, everyone knows he's the one to beat. The 2014 World Series of Poker is dealt by the WSOP's social game on Facebook and mobile. Try our new high roller tables today. Welcome back to Las Vegas. We are getting closer to that money bubble. One player who won't be cashing is 96 main event champ Huck Seed. He was the last former champ left in the field.
Knocked out by 25-year-old pro Dan Smith. Smith attended the University of Maryland. 746 players started day 4, 15 of them from the tiny state of Maryland. What a state, Lon.
So with that knockout, Smith approaching 1 million chips. He is in the top 10. The average stack about 270,000. So Smith making some real noise out there. You know, every year hundreds of players play in the main event for the very first time. Their stories are different, but they all came up with 10 grand. This year we decided to take a closer look at some of those newcomers.
I'm a lawyer. I'm a program manager at Microsoft. I am a hairstylist.
I got more money than I got good sense.
I'm currently unemployed.
I manage an organic farm. I'm a full-time caregiver for my grandma.
I'm a horse racing gambler, and I know absolutely nothing about playing poker. I'm pretending I'm an actor who's pretending he's a poker player.
I'm just a poor kid with a pipe dream.
Just a bucket list kind of thing.
I made like a really ridiculous YouTube video to get a sponsor.
Got divorced, bought a Harley, figured this was my year to play in the main event. I'm just happy to be here.
I could never afford it before. My dad helped me a lot.
I'm turning 50 this year, so present to myself.
This year I played a satellite and I won the satellite.
My grandkids put the money up and sent me out of here.
I won the China Nation Championship.
The reason I got into poker, like when I was like 15 years old or whatever, seeing Moneymaker win, I've always dreamed playing the main event.
Well, we got Moneymaker at the table, which is exciting. He's kind of keeping it fun.
21 years old, I didn't expect to see facial here.
I'm at these tables and I see these players and I'm like, these guys are just way above my level.
I'm not Phil Ivey, but I think, you know, in the right situation, everybody's just as good as everybody.
They're just players too, you know. I'll still win the 10 million.
I'm the best player you've never heard of.
If you want to be a shark, you got to play with the sharks.
It tests you on so many different levels, no matter how good you think you are.
The main event is something special. You know, the atmosphere, everybody's excited.
If I do well in this, I definitely will retire.
Single, no girlfriend, so I keep everything.
I'm sure we'd buy a house.
Well, I'm going to win it. I'm not quite through yet. I got a little bit more to do.
I won the Super Bowl my rookie year, so why not the World Series?
I just need to be the chip leader by the end of the tournament.
Last week I was playing for beer on Northside Drive in Atlanta.
Just go with the flow, man. Let's see what happens.
My advice for first-time players is play like you fly an airplane. Don't make any mistakes. You always want to play tomorrow.
Of course, Chris Moneymaker was a first-timer when he ignited the poker boom in 2003, and last year's champ Ryan Reese was also a first-timer.
We saw Tom Serra Jr. in that piece. He's well above average with 543,000.
Serra, a 39-year-old poker dealer from Ohio.
Bobby Mapp in his first main event at 70 years old.
He's old school. He doesn't even own a computer.
So 715 remain. Interesting hand developing out in the field. Jack Schonbacher turned a set of sixes. One of our first-timers, Richard Rigney, is all in after flopping an ace-high flush. The river card is another 6 quad sixes for Schonbacher to knock out Rigney.
Jack is in the house. Holy.
That's just not right. Rigney owns racehorses. Schonbacher just came 27 lengths off the pace after the flop to beat Rigney.
That stunned everybody at that table, Rigney most of all. Schonbacher now up to nearly $1 million.
Jack Schonbacher. That doesn't sound like a main event champion's name, like Chris Moneymaker. Just saying.
He's a 31-year-old poker pro, born and lives in the Pittsburgh area. And a short while ago, he let his followers know how absurd and crazy that hand was. We head over to Ronnie Barta's table. Ronnie is anything but a first-timer. His upbringing helped shape the poker player that he is today.
I grew up in Brockton, Massachusetts, about 15 minutes south of Boston. Big boxing town, you know, Rocky Marciano, Marvin Hagler. Real tough city. Seen a lot of crazy things, a lot of different gangs that kids I grew up with since I was little, you know, just fighting each other and different rivalries and a lot of funerals I had to attend. Playing in the poker world and playing poker for a living, you deal with a lot of bull. If you got the background I have, you can see through a lot of that. People try to angle you or get the best of you, you know, and it made me, you know, gave me a strong stomach and made me who I am today. Then I started playing poker, playing 1 to 3 stud. My first main event was 2006. And then I didn't get to play the main event in 07, 08, and 09. I was over in Israel every summer. And I won a seat in 2010 on the beach in Israel. And I came in, I took 24th. It was a good run. Hopefully I'll be back here next year. Came back in 11, you know, had a deep run again. 2012, I cashed again. 2013, last year I came in and I cashed 4 times in a row. It's kind of a nitty record. you know, but if I cash this year, it'll be 5. I'll be the only one in the history books to ever do that, the World Series of Poker cash the main event 5 years in a row. And I don't think anybody will ever do it again. It's really, really tough. And it's really hard.
He's the Chris Carter of the main event. All he does is cash, but he says the grind is getting torn because he's getting older. He's 31.
And I don't like this cameras in the back of my head, and I know I have no hair right here. That's why I wear a hat.
I like it.
I know, if I knew I would wear a hat too.
I wear a hat too.
Yeah, but I used to be good looking before, so you know. Well, I didn't have that.
Barta not the only recognizable name at this table, with Canadian Eric Cloutier there too. He made national news by accidentally selling his wife's wedding ring at a garage sale.
Eric and I sort of share that garage sale experience, except my first ex-wife sold my wedding ring on purpose.
With ace-8, Barta's all in against the pocket 5s of Cloutier.
Christian Harder also cashed in a 4th straight main event last year, but he busted here already.
5-5, sir. This is it. I need to win this to fulfill my legacy. Perfect. Right? I need to win a race to fulfill my legacy.
Good luck, Ronnie.
Thanks, man. How poetic. It's like, yeah. Yes, sir. He beat me in a race. I think it's my turn now.
I'm too lucky for that.
This is an $18,000.
I'm the luckiest man in the world.
This is an $18,000 flip, basically, and a 5 straight. You know,
you can't borrow 100K like this. Who cares about?
I know you're rooting for me, Norway.
Ronnie talking about 18,000 cash, the minimum payout. Here is the flop. No ace, no 8. Barta comes up empty.
Jack, 8 or an ace, or a 7.
Jack or a 7 would give Barta an up and down straight draw.
I'm all in, Rue. I got it on my head.
There is the 7.
I got all the outs.
You see the 14 outs for Ronnie Barta to keep alive his dream of a record 5th straight main event cash.
The river card is an ace. Barta River's salvation, and his quest for 5 is still alive. Ronnie seems caught up in the moment there.
That's for you, yeah.
He's not quite to that record-breaking moment yet.
I pulled a 6-8.
I don't know why I get so emotional, you know, in this tournament.
Gentlemen, cold water.
I pulled an ace-5.
Did you?
It wasn't a big double up, but it was a critical one. Ronnie Barta stays alive in the main event, seeking his historic 5th straight cash.
Right here. VSOP, baby.
Before day 4, there were days 1, 2, and 3 of the main event.
That's perfect play, man.
Too nervous. It was rough. I'm not supposed to feel pressure like this till day 3 or day 4. Yeah, it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be real tough.
How wimpy do I play?
I'm losing money.
Way ahead pre-flop. Don't make me do the math for you.
While big names have survived, many big names fell way short of the money.
Stay longer, baby.
You're the reason I'm here. Don't get crazy.
It making you nervous?
9-4.
This is my favorite and worst time of year. Favorite playing, worst being out.
Nice game.
Antonio Esfandiari went out late on day 3, as did NBA star Paul Pierce. And Ryan Reese won't be winning back-to-back main event titles.
Regrettably, Doyle Brunson did not play in the main event this year. He tweeted the hours are too long, plus his wife Louise was a bit under the weather.
To the featured table, Phil Ivey under the gun. Ivey with King Jack.
Big cash games.
The chip leader at this table now, a raise to 11,000. Folded over to Mark Daniel Hughes with pocket 6s, an amateur, born and still lives in Vancouver.
He attended Langara College, the University of British Columbia, and Simon Fraser University, and didn't graduate from any of them. The boy is an academic dilettante. If he graduated, he'd know what that meant.
He makes the call. Kyle Karanen, 9-7 of spades, 32-year-old Vegas pro.
And he graduated from Drake University with degrees in philosophy and international relations, but neither of them will get you a job anywhere in America.
Karanen made the call for 11,000. Now on the button, it is Marty Vertical, 53-year-old from Central California, King 10 of diamonds.
He shot 69 to qualify for the U.S. Senior Open. No college needed for that.
Vertical commits 11,000 as well.
Phil Ivey likes to play golf, but only if money is involved. Heck, Phil has a craps table literally in his own home. He likes to gamble.
Both blinds folded their unplayable hands. 4 players see a flop of 7, King 10. Ivey with top pair, but Vertical has kings up to take control of that 4-way jump ball.
No college for Phil Ivey. And I hate to question my main man, but I think he's misspelling Ivy League on his baseball cap.
Ivy bets 28,000. Hughes with the pocket sixes, which are no good, go into the muck. Karanen, bottom pair, is no good either here. And he folds. Now Vertical with kings up.
Vertical runs Vertical Brothers Stores. They deal in liquid and dry fertilizer. Selling fertilizer is good prep for dealing with poker players, I believe.
Indeed. Vertical with the best of it. He wants to play a pot with Phil Ivey. How big a pot does he want to play? The orange are worth 5,000 each. That's a raise to 78,000.
Ivy with top pair facing a big raise from the amateur.
Top pair with a good kicker. Phil Ivey has seen that a lot from amateurs, and he sniffs it out and gets rid of his hand. Wow.
Yeah, look at that. If I'm in that spot line, I lose a lot more. That's why Ivey's a great player, and I'm just a great-looking guy.
Ivy's stack remains healthy after that hit. He has cashed 4 times in the main event, but these aren't your run-of-the-mill cashes. 7th, 20th, 10th, and 23rd. When he cashes, and we might be in store for another deep run here.
I hope so. And if he finally goes all the way, he just promised Pat Humphries that he'll give her this bracelet. Ivy, Ivy, Ivy.
Ivy has the action with pocket kings. Andy Wang opened for 12,000 with queen jack. He was raised by Kyle Karanen with king queen. He made it 29,000. Now to Phil.
Phil's got to like this spot.
With the pocket kings, just a call.
Well, against a big stack and a good player, Ivy decides to keep the pot small pre-flop.
Now Wang, the second biggest stack at this table, folds. And so Ivy in great shape against Karanen heads up here. Karanen, the third biggest stack at this table, and he will have position on Ivy now. Flop is 7 jack tray rainbow. Ivy got nothing to worry about. Karanen got nothing. Ivy checks.
I love that checking motion. It's the executive check, the economy of motion check.
So that check may be prompting some action here from Karanen.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to continuation bet with air. That's called the C bet with air.
24,000 from Kyle.
When Ivy was a teenager, he worked at McDonald's. He would stare down customers until they'd reveal their order without saying a word.
And usually get maximum from the customer, too. Ivy with another call of 24,000.
Ivy continues to slow play it.
Turn card now. 10 of spades, giving Karanen an open-ended straight draw. Ivy checks again.
The thing about that checking motion, Ivy is saving energy for the really big hands.
Does Kyle want to try take 2 here? Nope. A check back. River card now is a king, and wow, a set of kings for Phil Ivey.
I think Ivy is attempting to win the minimum here.
Karanen picked up top pair with a good kicker. Ivy checks a third time. Kyle checks back. 3 of a kind kings once again for Phil Ivey.
Ivy's slow play didn't really work out. Burn this tape immediately. And you got to give Karanen credit for not biting on the turn of the river. He's a pretty good player, too.
Karanen with some well-timed restraint on the river saves some chips. Ivy now over 700,000 at this featured table.
Good check back.
Thanks. I have ice cream now.
You did?
As a kid, kind of had ice cream. I was sick, right?
Phil Ivey maybe wants that river back, but he's still cruising at this featured table, looking to be well on his way to another strong run. The poker main event continues at 10 p.m. Eastern with another hour from Las Vegas.
This camera's in the back of my head, and I know I have no hair right here. That's why I wear a hat. Yeah, but I used to be good looking before. Well, I didn't have that.
The iconic and eclectic skyline of the Las Vegas Strip this year marks the 45th edition of the World Series of Poker. And it's that time. The money bubble is here, just 2 knockouts away from guaranteed cash in the main event.
Get me a Bubble Boy, Lon. I want a Bubble Boy's head on a platter ASAP.
They are playing hand for hand. Each table will pause when their hand is completed until all the action at all the tables is done, and then they'll start it over. Ronnie Barta seeking a record 5th straight main event cash.
Now walk it out,
Barta hoping for a walk in the big blind.
Folded to 26-year-old Norwegian Tor Wello. Queen 10 offsuit.
I don't blame you, baby. I would do the same with my face sitting here if I was you. That's the truth. What? I shouldn't say that until it's my actions.
Weller with a raise to 11,000.
I said I would do the same thing if I was in your spot looking at me. Oh, of course, right? First one is bad.
Pretty big him.
Yeah. I have the slingshot. They call this a slingshot from Foxwoods Casino.
I'm just mad he keeps hijacking my bet.
What's the story behind the slingshot?
I have no idea. They just call it the slingshot. I have no clue.
If he cashes in a 5th straight main event, that would be darn impressive. But I disagree with Ronnie that it's a record that'll never be broken. Hey, all records are broken.
So Barta folds. A lot of downtime for the players in between hands.
When's the last day of this? Sunday? Monday?
Monday, right?
Monday. Today is Friday?
I didn't know what day it was.
You get lost. I didn't know what year it was once. I swear. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding.
That's not good.
I had to fill out a thing. I had to ask, I couldn't figure out which year it was. That's strong. That's the God's honest truth.
Phil, that's too strong.
No, I was playing 35-hour sessions, and then going to sleep and then playing again for 35 hours and going to sleep and then playing again for a month.
That's a healthy lifestyle.
Action at one of the outer tables, and take a good look at that board. John Dwyer turned a full house as Mark Newhouse picked up quad 5s. Newhouse just put Dwyer all in.
I think I'm good.
He should think he's good, but he's not. If Dwyer calls here with queens full, he goes out just short of the money.
Dwyer lives in Columbus, Ohio. Makes the call. Quad 5s will send Dwyer out the door.
5s versus queens full of 5s. That means queens full is going to be eliminated.
Wow.
That is brutal, but to be honest, John Dwyer doesn't sound like a main event champion's name. Too vanilla.
We've got another all-in and call. Zen Kai at risk with pocket queens, needing a queen on the river to overtake the aces of Darren Keys. He's on the left. The river card. Another 6. The pocket aces for Keys hold up, and Zen Kai is out of the main event in the same round.
That's a shame, because I've got to tell you, Zen Kai, that name could have worked for main event champion.
Kai out of the main event, but we are not done. Action at another table. Corey Hunter all in with pocket aces, and with a much bigger stack, Harry Kashka, there's your world champion name, trying to make 8-9 of diamonds work.
I would never go all in with aces on the money bubble. Never. All you can do is lose.
Ace of diamonds is live.
Kashka, a pro from New York. Hunter, a pro from Maryland. Here is the flop. A pair of 8s for Kashka to help a little bit.
Hunter relatively unthrilled by the flop.
His aces still in control. Turn card now. 5 of clubs. Kashka now with a straight draw.
So now a 9, 8, or 6 knocks out Hunter.
The river card is a 9, and Kashka runs down the pocket aces with 2 pair on the river. Hunter is gone.
So as it turns out, 3 players, John Dwyer, Zen Kai, and Corey Hunter, will share 693rd place money.
Hunter out with aces. Let's get down to World Series of Poker Tournament Director Jack Effel.
It's a historical moment here at the 2014 WSOP main event. There are 692 players remaining. That means you're all in the money. $18,406 is yours. Congratulations. Best of luck in the rest of the event. And I would like to make note that our bubble boy from 2013, Mr. Farzad Banyadi, who won a seat on behalf of WSOP, is in the field today and in the money. So congratulations and good luck to you too today.
My kids are going to be so proud.
692 players can breathe a sigh of relief, but no one is sighing louder than Ronnie Barta.
Slingshot from Foxwoods Casino.
So Ronnie Barta makes main event history. Kara Scott caught up with him moments ago.
There is a record that's been broken here. Ronnie Barta has an amazing 5 consecutive cashes in the main event now that the bubble has burst. Give us your reactions to this.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, I got so many supporters that Facebook me and text me, and I won my all-in. I almost cried. I want to cry now. It's like big, so.
It really is, and you've always been such a great ambassador for this tournament. When I walked over here to interview you, your dad was calling, and you still let me interview you. What are you going to say to your dad?
I mean, he's my biggest fan, and it's my best friend. I love him, and I'm going to tell him I did it, and he's... I just get really emotional. I'm sorry, but you know, it's just great. It's to do it it's really tough to cash this tournament, and just to do it 5 years in a row. And now I'm going to be etched in World Series of Poker history. You know, and I'm here, you know, and now I got 100K and I can run it up, and maybe I'll make the final 9 and even break more records.
With pocket deuces, Barta has Cloutier all in.
Deuces never loses, correct?
Remember Lou Gehrig played in 2,130 consecutive games? That record was never going to be broken. Bang! 56 years later, Cal Ripken Jr. breaks it. This record will not hold up.
Cloutier all in with pocket sixes.
Hey, come on, man. You had a chance. You had a chance. You asked me to switch a swap with you, and you go with him.
He has to swap, and then he says, give me some.
I shoved the smallest big blind.
Coming out, gentlemen.
You know.
All right, here's the flop. Cloutier at risk and ahead. And there's a deuce. Barta is living right. He hits his set.
You're still drawing live. You're drawing to a 5 or a 6.
Gut shot for Cloutier. Ace of hearts on the turn. Same outs for Eric.
5. Cloutier's got to have a 5 or a 6.
Eric needs a 5 to stay alive. 5 or a 6.
The river card is another ace. And Barta running hot. Cloutier is run over.
Cy Young won 511 games. Honestly, I don't think that record ever falls.
A min cash for Cloutier means he'll collect $18,406 from the payout cage here at the Rio. Barta now over $140,000.
I also had like 10 big blinds. At 40K big blinds.
Now he's got chips.
Now we got some biscuits. Now we back in.
Quite a profitable little streak Barta is riding. All right, back to the feature table now where Phil Ivey sits with just over 700,000 chips. Ivey under the gun.
You know it's Phil, you know something, right?
Did not.
Doesn't know what year it is, doesn't know the action's on him. He's an old man.
These are long days, but I think Phil was napping with his eyes open with 7-6 of diamonds. He's going to wake up to a raise of 11,000.
Speaking of records, two-time bracelet winner Howard Tahoe. Andrew has now played at the World Series of Poker 41 consecutive years. And Lon, this is your 13th consecutive main event in the booth, and you haven't lost a dime that whole time.
My Scottish ancestors would be proud. All right, Keranen with 10 tray throws those into the muck. All these players celebrating quietly in their own way that they are in the money at the 2014 main event. Vertical with 8-7 of clubs on the button. He'll call for 11,000.
By the way, my other favorite Phil, the poker brat Phil Hellmuth, bluffed off almost all his main event chips on day 2 with 10-3 offsuit. See ya.
Folded 2, the big blind. Nacho Sanchez, 52-year-old farmer from Fresno, California, makes the call with King 10. 3 players will see this flop. Jack, Queen, King. Sanchez with top pair, and he's open-ended. He checks to the razor. Phil Ivey with a flush draw. Ivey with 4 orange chips. 20,000 to Vertical, who had a big whiff on that flop, and he folds.
But that was a ripe flop for Sanchez, huh?
With the best hand, Sanchez just calls. Turn card now. 5 of clubs. Sanchez is still good.
Out of position against Phil Ivey. It's like driving blindfolded at Indy.
He checks again. Ivey. No flush yet, but still with chips in hand. 48,000.
Sanchez just seems weak. Ivey trying to push him off his hand.
The amateur not going anywhere. And there's another call.
It's tough to make a living check calling against Phil Ivey. The stress alone will kill you.
River card now. A 7 that pairs Ivey, but it's Sanchez's pair of kings that would win the day, and a third check from Sanchez.
And Ivey knows he probably can't win the pot unless he fires at it again. Will he fire at it again?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow, that's a lot. That would put Nacho all in.
Don't know if Nacho wants to call off all his chips here. You hate doing that. Oh, Ivey just gulped. Never seen that before. He should wear an Ivy League scarf.
Nacho does not want to put all his chips in the middle against Phil Ivey, and Ivey will take that pot. So how did Phil Ivey win that pot? Antonio Esfandiari and Phil Locke are here for another season of Pro Analysis.
2014, kid, they had us back. Round 2, I like it.
How did you make the cut?
I don't know. I held on to your coattails as usual, you know. But anyways, to the hand. So this is a classic, way better to act second than acting first in poker situation.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I don't think that this hand would ever go down like this if Ivy didn't have position. It's clear that when Nacho check calls out of position on 2 streets, that he doesn't have better than a 1-pair hand. And so Ivy knows this. And when he puts them all in on the river, it's very tough for his opponent to call with just 1 pair. You never want to call off your whole stack at a TV table especially and say goodbye.
Right. I mean, Ivy knows that pair of 7s is no good. He's got to get that last barrel in.
100%.
Phil Ivey knew Nacho Sanchez was in a tough spot. He bet 3 times and won the pot. It's easy for Ivy to do. We're just lucky we get to watch. And coming your way at 10 p.m. Eastern, the bracelet and $10 million are getting closer.
I didn't know what year it was once. I swear. I'm not even kidding. That's strong.
Phil, that's too strong.
2 years ago, I mean, it was the second time I played the main event, so I didn't have a lot of experience in it. The first time I played it, I made day 2. I think I busted out pretty early on day 2. So the second time I played it, I didn't have really high expectations. I was still kind of on the learning curve. And then I just shot up the ranks and was, day 6 chip leader, and it was overwhelming in a lot of ways. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? I didn't expect to have an opportunity to win the main event the second time I played it.
He finished the 2012 main event 38th. He's got a long way to go to surpass that.
Kyle in the big blind with an early raiser and 3 callers in front of him. Pocket trays for Keranen. In early position, Marty Vertical with pocket 8s, made it 11,000. And now Keranen puts out 56,000 with the re-raise.
Didn't expect that with pocket trays, but it should thin the herd.
So now back to Vertical with his 8s.
If you're the original raiser with pocket 8s and there are 3 calls and a 3-bet behind you, you might not like it anymore.
Vertical does fold.
I'm all in.
And Duncan re-raises all in for over 147,000.
I don't know about that push.
I don't think I can fold. Can I get a count, please?
Folded back to Keranen now with his trays.
It'd be for less than 20% of Kyle's stack.
What's so funny? They're nutritious, no?
Ace King?
Ballpark.
Call. I'm sorry?
Just call and find out.
Is that how this works?
Duncan actually picked a good spot to push. Kyle's pocket 3s might go away.
You're right. Duncan showing a lot of strength.
I got a pair. Does that make you afraid at all?
Duncan has gone mute.
Thank you.
Kyle calls, Duncan at risk, holding 2 picture cards.
Good read from Keranen.
That's pretty good circumstance for me, actually.
The Dairy Queen impresario will be at risk.
He's all Vertical. He might want his 8s back. Here's the flop, 10-7-10, and the paired board opens up the door a bit more for Duncan.
Hard to like Jim Duncan's chances in a race.
Anybody fold a 7?
That name doesn't have a champion's ring to it.
Turn card 9 of spades, no pair for Duncan, but his outs just blossom with the double gutter.
Yeah, Duncan now with nearly half the deck to stay alive.
7 through 4, but an 8 does not.
The river card, the 6 of hearts is a brick, and Jim Duncan is out of the 2014 main event.
Enjoy, fellas.
Good try, Jim.
Hey, nice playing with you.
Nice guys always finish 646.
Worth over 18,000 for Jim Duncan.
Winning flips. Life is good.
Keranen now over 700,000 as his trays knock out Jim Duncan.
I learned that from watching you, Dad.
Oh. Winning flips?
It's a joke. Yeah. You're not actually my dad.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Kyle Keranen playing well and running well with more than 140 big blinds here on day 4. The 2014 World Series of Poker is dealt by the World Series of Poker Circuit Tour. Looking for live tournament action in a market near you? Check out the new schedule at WSOP.com. All right, and the new zip line that connects the towers here at the Rio. Norman, we're on for that after dinner, right?
Are you kidding me? I don't even trust room service.
This is day 4 of the main event 2014. The remaining players are in the money. Phil Ivey in middle position with pocket sixes and a raise to 11,000. Andy Wang with ace 10.
35-year-old Chinese-born New York City real estate broker by way of the University of Michigan.
And a main event rookie. He has a lot of chips starting this hand with almost 630,000. He just calls. Hughes on the button folds. Trevor Whiteway in the small blind. Owns a lighting company in UK. Ace 5.
Hughes should put his baseball cap on right, and Whiteway should take off his shades.
Whiteway folds. Kyle Karanen with pocket 4s. He called the all-in with trays. This is a no-doubter to play this hand.
Kyle born in Minnesota, but he definitely looks like he's living in Las Vegas.
And he calls for 6,000 more from the big blind. He'll see a flop with Ivey and Wang. The 3 big stacks at this table. 8, 4, 5. Karanen comes up big with a set, and he checks it to Ivey. Ivey with a gut shot.
Maybe Karanen is Ivey's son. He checked there in a similar fashion as Phil would.
Phil's sixes just got blown up, but he bets 18,000. Wang drawing dead and senses something is amiss, and he folds. Now back to Karanen.
Well, it was a good-looking flop for Ivey's pocket sixes, but he is in a world of trouble.
And a check raise from Kyle to 55,000.
Ivey might have done the same thing. Maybe they're distant cousins.
Ivey looking at Karanen.
Well, can Ivey sniff out the strength of Karanen's hand the way that Karanen did with Ivey earlier?
Well, Ivey might smell a set, but for 37,000 with outs and the big stack at the table, he makes the call.
If he smelled a set, I don't think he would have called there. He's smarter than that.
Deuce of clubs. He's got outs. Ivey with more outs with a double gut shot. Karanen first to act here. He bets 76,000.
A river 7, 6, or 3 would give Ivey the best hand. He's actually getting the right price here to call, about 3-1, and he's about a 3-1 dog, plus implied odds, Lon, which we never speak of.
Wow, don't even go there. Ivey with chips in hand, trying to get some read from Karanen.
Plus, Ivey might even think he's ahead right now.
And there is the call for 76,000. Ivey with the pocket sixes, Karanen with the set. River card, 9 of hearts, no help to Ivey.
That's a pretty safe card for Karanen. The diamond draw missed.
And now Karanen checks, opening the door for an Ivey bluff.
I can't see Ivey firing a riverbed here. I sure hope he doesn't.
Check. You checked as well?
Check is good. And Karanen will take the table lead away from Phil Ivey with that pot.
Karanen takes a decent chunk of chips from his mythical father.
Well, at best, Ivey was ahead. At worst, he had outs. In the end, well, he played it smart. Kyle Karanen with that pot, now up to 863,500 chips. Ivey unhappy to take the hit. Karanen with a top 20 stack, setting himself up nicely for another deep main event run. All right, let's get it out to an outer table. That is Griffin Binger, a Canadian poker pro. He just flopped aces up against the pocket kings of Alex Tran from Anaheim, California. Binger made it 152,000. The original bettor folded. Now back to Tran. And Tran moves all in.
My goodness. Tran pushes with over 70 big blinds left. And if Binger calls here, Tran is crushed.
Something for Binger to think about. And a call. Tran at risk and way behind.
Boy, Tran got married to his hand, and sometimes when you're married, you lose all of your money.
Binger in nice position to score this million-chip pot. Now a flush draw for Tran.
Not impressed with it.
Tran hoping the deck bails him out.
The river card. Another 5, and Binger takes it. Binger's 2-pair outflanked the 2-pair of Alex Tran, who was sent to the rail.
Big error by Tran. Big pot for Benger.
Benger moves up to almost $1.2 million. Alex Trent out. He'll earn over $20,000.
You know, when you lose all your chips, you're done. I don't get it there.
All right, time now for the DraftKings.com King of the Night, and it's a pretty easy choice on this day 4. Ronnie Barta for his 5th straight main event cash. It was not without drama, but in the end, Barta stands alone as the only player to ever cash in 5 straight main events.